to very different environments that we. So today, what we want to share with you, our IT expert for today, not one of our product experts for a change, Mark Robinson, is going to just be talking to you a little bit about what is happening within our digital space, the technology that the world's going through, and all of these things, so that we can maybe have a bit of a context for what's going on in our world. And of course, it's important for us to be able to change and adapt and move with those times, be able to respond to customer demands and how they want to interact with us and yourselves as brokers. And as well, we're moving into an age where data becomes incredibly important. And so we really want to be in a position where we're able to offer really good data and really good analytics on all of the information that we do collect over time. So without further ado, I'm going to be handing you over to Mark Robinson, who's going to take you through our digital presentation for today. And then we're going to have very quickly some of our digital products you're going to have a look at and see where we are with those. So thanks, everybody. Sit back and enjoy.
Good morning. I hope everyone is less stressed than us on a Tuesday morning when I have people telling me that the internet in the office is not working. Right, let me try and share my screen. I've got a nice presentation for you. Caesar, if you could just enable sharing for me, please. So it's not often that I get to talk to such a large audience and kind of talk about what gets me up in the morning. So I'm quite excited. It's a pity that this is on Zoom. Don't get to see your faces and the responses, but I hope that you take something away from today. And it was basically that it's an interesting presentation, that I don't bore you, that you learn something, and that better at the end, you kind of reach out to one of the panelists for today, and we have a further conversation about how we can work together in all things digital. Just try and get the presentation up. Great. So let's start by talking about digital transformation. Can everyone see my screen? Caesar?
Yes, we can, Mark. Yes, we can.
Cool. So what does digital mean? I get asked that a lot, and I think it means a lot of different things to different people. The unfortunate reality is that a lot of people use this to try and sell you something. I think that the Swiss watchmaking industry is one of the few in the world where things like analog and mechanical are still cool and still, warrant huge price tags in comparison to kind of emails that I get on a daily basis of someone trying to sell me something that is now digital and therefore better. So we have to acknowledge that the world has changed. Digital transformation is front and center. It's one of the most kind of publicized and pressing issues probably for most IT execs in the world. So what exactly does it mean? So I found a really good definition amongst many. It's kind of the interplay between technology, business, and society, and kind of how a change in one area, technology, for example, will impact the other two, and the same in reverse. But, we have to ask ourselves then, what is the difference between digital transformation today as a topic and what's happened through IT enablement in the past? So we got mainframes, we got smartphones. Those are all technological innovations that have driven us forward. But what is the difference, and what are the key differences with digital transformation? To explain what digital transformation is, I'm going to go a little bit into the history of what's happened in the last few years. So let's first look at Gordon Moore, who was one of the co-founders of Intel Corporation. So in 1965, he predicted that transistors would double every year. He later had to revise that to say it will happen every 2 years. But for the greater part of 45 years and still ongoing, computing power has almost doubled every 2 years. This has also meant that the kind of computational cost in terms of rands and dollars has actually come down relatively. There's a lot of talk in the market that this might be slowing, but we have to look at the last 45 years, and that's kind of brought us to where we are today. So computing power has fundamentally changed and become more powerful. Then we've had kind of innovation in terms of cloud computing. And what is cloud computing? So it's basically a bunch of what's mostly American multinationals have allowed us to share computer resources. So you pay typically per unit, so that would be per hour that a server is used, the database is used, or per gigabyte of, say, for example, storage. And what we've actually seen is that Amazon has actually changed their business, that I think it's around about 11.8% of their sales revenue now comes from selling cloud services as opposed to retail. And what's even more scary is that 59.1% of their operating income, so that's net of expenses, is actually from the cloud business and not from the retail business. We're also seeing that these cloud providers are continuously investing and innovating. So, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, they've both launched data centers in South Africa. So they've actually bought this product suite closer to us. They also have a suite of, more than 200 individual products and services that anyone has access to. So as long as you have a credit card, you can spin up a server in a matter of minutes, whereas it used to take you weeks of lead time to order equipment, have it delivered, have it set up, have the right people in-house to kind of configure and maintain that stuff. That's all gone. Then if we look at let's look onto connectivity for Africa as a continent. And what you'll see there is that after 2010, we have had, much more connectivity and let's say throughput and capacity that's brought in from undersea cables that have connected the West Coast, East Coast, and connected us through the Mediterranean to Europe. So that means Africa as a whole has become a lot more connected. We can't play this down because a lot of services and things that we use traditionally have not been on the continent. And if we look more into South Africa, so I haven't chosen to show you fixed broadband penetration rates because those are traditionally low. So we have to acknowledge that Africa as a continent and South Africa equally is more of a mobile first country in terms of connectivity. So on the left-hand side, we have Vodacom's coverage in 1994 for 2G. And on the right-hand side, we have it 2022. If you look at then, we go on to 3G and 4G LTE. So we can see there, massive amounts of coverage. Not as much as with 2G, but we've blanketed the country in a lot of connectivity. Then if we move on to more technical innovation, we're looking at 5G. And the 5G coverage is still very small. I think MTN is forecasting that they'd like to cover 25% of South Africa. But if you look at the download speeds, they are massively different. 5G as a technology also lets the base towers connect a lot more devices concurrently. There's better throughput and lower latency. So, that's also, it's an innovation that's changed the world. Then what does that mean though? So now we have this compute power. We have this connectivity that's connecting, the country. We're seeing that 70% of South Africans are actively using the internet. It's the World Bank data figure. So that means, actually everyone is almost able to, interact, get knowledge out of the internet, transact on the internet, which is amazing. So then we'd have a look at not just people, but we have to have a look at, the Internet of Things. And there we're saying that, not only people are connecting to the internet and to networks, but actually devices are more and more prevalent. So if you look at 2022, we're sitting somewhere around 10 to 15 billion connected devices. I mean, by 2030, that's forecast to, almost double. It must be noted that the pandemic, I think, with chip shortages and hardware shortages has maybe slowed this down. So the predicted growth might not be realized, but there will still definitely be significant growth in terms of number of devices that are connected. So with let's say the Internet of Things, we also have had other technological innovations. We have blockchain and edge computing. And this is again, increased accessibility to computing resources. So instead of having cloud computing or data centers that are centralizing those resources, we're now saying that those resources might happen in a vast array of networks of different people, individual computers or devices. So what does all of that mean? So, I mean, people connected, compute capacity, it means, data is getting generated. And like Megan alluded to earlier, there is more and more and more data in the world. And again, there's an innovation that's now being built on top of this data. So we're seeing a lot of kind of advancement in artificial intelligence and machine learning. Some of Gartner's emerging texts for 2022, things like explainable AI, generative AI, even when you have AI that's going to start writing some of the software for you. And that compounds the impact that basically data has on the world. And again, there'll be a cycle, innovation, growth, more data. So in summary, what that means is we have an exponential kind of growth in the capability of processing power. We have ubiquity of connectivity. Even if we do have kind of gaps, some gaps in rural South Africa, I think there are technologies also like Elon Musk's Starlink that are slowly going to kind of reduce and make the rural population more connected. We're saying that the accessibility of technology has increased or improved. There's been a reduction in the relative cost. Humans and machines are interacting like they never have before, and we have more data than we probably know what to do with. So bringing me back to kind of digital transformation, I think largely technological innovation has not changed. We've always been evolving and growing and advancing, but the impacts that technology change has on the world today is not the same as it was 10 years ago. Changes are, the scale, the scope, and the speed of these kind of changes, the impact that they have are massive. So what this is meaning also is that if we look at like a traditional innovation S-curve on the right, which is something that Clayton Christensen came up with, though that window of innovation is much shorter, and technology obsolescence is also a lot shorter. It's a lot shorter until technology that was useful yesterday is no longer useful. So if we then bring that into digital and digital business, I think we can safely say that IT is no longer really a support function. It needs to play a critical role in creating value in business processes. So some examples, not from the insurance industry, that I just picked up that fascinated me in the last kind of while was, this concept of car sales. So, I mean, traditionally that is, individuals is probably second largest purchasing decision, after kind of property. And people have actually gone fully online to buy new and used cars. In 2019, Tesla announced that they'd only sell new cars online, kind of getting rid of, let's say, not necessarily brick and mortar locations, but getting rid of salespeople as we knew it. You have Hey Car in the UK, which is kind of an auto trader for secondhand vehicles, also purely online. Then the one I think that's caused a lot of disruption and concern in the last I think it's month. The German automaker has said that they will kind of fit cars with heated seats, but if you want to turn it on, you have to pay a monthly subscription fee of 250 rand. So kind of trying to create some annuity income, very much only enabled by the Internet of Things and kind of payment technologies that are available today. I mean, the North American motor giant is saying that they've earned $2 billion in in-car subscription revenue in the last year. It's massive. Something closer to home for I2 and kind of our art and show businesses, that we're also seeing that, throughout the pandemic, some fine art auctions were forced to go online. We haven't seen a drop off afterwards. So we're still seeing, a lot of online auction activity. We're seeing kind of the values that are being kind of raised at these auctions for digital art and NFTs, which are also astronomical and eye-watering. So now all of that is kind of digital technology playing a role in what was traditional business or a business process that's evolved. So I'm not going to talk about defensive strategies. And when I talk about defensive strategies, I would be talking about things like, cybersecurity, compliance, more about offensive strategy in terms of how we can exploit the opportunities that this technological change has had as an industry and as I2. So to frame up the conversation, I always find it useful to pull up the value chain. And this basically just allows me to group different functions within a traditional short-term insurance business. And then we can talk about, digital technology and potential in each of those. So I'm not going to talk about marketing, but I am going to talk about some of the other kind of primary activities. So one is product development. I think with the change in technology, one of the things that's kind of clear is that that'll create new risks and perils. So there we can think about things like, unmanned aerial vehicles, autonomous self-driving cars. There's agricultural equipment that's now, completely robotic. how do those changes in technologies change the insurance landscape, and how do they give us opportunities to create new products to sell to cater for those needs? I think another aspect of product development is hyper-personalization. Clients are more and more expecting that solutions are tailor-made for their individual needs or business needs. And, the cookie cutter approach is no longer that acceptable. And I think that's also driven by, technology enabling us to kind of offer these kinds of personalized products and experiences. Another aspect, again, I spoke to it earlier, was kind of, what impact does data have on product development? And I think as the data gets better, so the policy wordings and things will evolve, and it'll be based on fact, and we'll get better products into the market. And then the last one, I said towards microinsurance, because I think technology has made operations, let's say policy administration, potentially more efficient. And this means that the cost of administering policies can also be reduced, meaning that we could potentially sell products at lower premiums, and they would still be profitable. And I think the team is going to talk you through some products a little bit later. And I think these are key examples where we're saying, we cannot afford to put a human in those processes, because then we can't sell the products at those prices. So there's a towards microinsurance and potentially microinsurance down the line, enabled by efficient policy administration. Then we can have a look at kind of distribution. I think what we're also realizing, we can take the auction example, we can take the kind of online car buying examples, but how do we embed insurance in ecosystems? Or how do we partner with affinity partners that have an existing network of customers that we can potentially plug into those customers, and there's shared value for all of us? So there, how do we access ecosystems? And ecosystems, an example there would be something like, I mentioned auctions, but the Apple or Android ecosystems are another one. So you have these massive amounts of customers that you could potentially target. Two, the advent of the digital broker. So that is almost entirely, say, robo-advice or digitally enabled advice. So, there's no real client interactions face-to-face. It's automated and it's focused on scale. So we're seeing more digital brokers emerge in the market. I think the nature of advice, kind of that goes to digital brokers, could also potentially change in a way that's more scalable, digital, direct, and personalized to clients. Then, the last two on the distribution front is targeted experiences. I think with the advent of kind of the internet, and I think tracking is getting harder, but there is still the potential to offer very, clearly identified niche segments of the market, specific products. And you can do that through technology by kind of putting the product at the right place, the right price, at the right time. And the last one is this kind of the advent of online, and everyone wanting to transact online and instantly purchasing insurance there and then. It's not a delayed or a prolonged experience. It takes you 5 minutes or 4 minutes, whatever that looks like, click to buy. And if we look at underwriting, how does the kind of digital world impact us there? I think this is primarily where data comes in. So risk management, we keep saying that the motor industry and motor insurance industry has for decades been using telematics. But as these kind of devices and Internet of Things has evolved, we'll see more and more devices that be able to help us proactively manage risk and proactively generate data so that we can understand and interpret those, so that risk management is not a once-off thing at inception or renewal, but that it's ongoing throughout the policy life cycle. Risk selection and kind of choosing which risks we want to take onto the books and at what price, that also I think is very much going to be impacted by data, artificial intelligence, and machine learning to make sure that we're consistent in our underwriting approaches. And if we look at claims, and I think insurance is typically only as good as a claim stage for customers, and building that trust and transparency, I think that's what's helped the financial services industry. Also, if you look at the Edelman Trust Barometer, it's become a lot more trustworthy in consumers' eyes in the last decade. So how do we kind of continue that? And I think here we're saying that, fraud detection, fraud is massive. And if we can use technology to reduce fraud, we'd be able to probably, pay real claims and pay them faster. And also, the claims expense management, that comes down to being able to reduce the price, potentially what we charge customers, if we become more efficient. So we'll have, let's say, and that should kind of push up demand if we manage to push down premiums slightly because of becoming more efficient. We also have cycle time. So we're seeing more and more kind of businesses being able to almost do what used to be called straight through processing, where claims are paid in hours or days and not weeks. And I think all of that will improve the experience for customers, and again, the kind of opinion of the industry. I'm going to focus just one slide on what I2 is doing in kind of this world of digital. So here we have 3 things that we're working on at the moment. So expert service, I think that's a given. As a business, and we'll hear Justin use that term often, we're constantly looking at how we improve service to brokers, how we support and empower brokers. I think that's incredibly important to us. So internally, we're using technologies and change to kind of facilitate that expert service and to make sure that we never get complacent or take that for granted. Then we have kind of product innovation. So there you would see that, we have products already: cyber, drones, SureThing. We're going to look at how do we personalize and provide, industry solutions in some of our products, over and above continuously looking at where we can bring in new products, because that's part of our growth has been, being innovative and challenging existing products and bringing new things to the market. And then lastly, alternative distribution. So we have, over the last 2 years, been working on a digital platform which allows us to embed insurance in existing ecosystems using an API layer. We also have what's called the broker label, and Meredith will take you through that a little bit later, which allows kind of customers to buy insurance very quickly and seamlessly in a matter of minutes, with brokers getting commission, brokers receiving communication. And that's also something that we're constantly improving and taking feedback and working towards, because I think this whole digital path, it's a journey. It's not something that happens overnight. And it's something that needs continuous improvement based on feedback and data. And the last kind of note on this slide, and what I wanted to also get across, is that, we don't want to go digital solo. So we rely on our partners, and that's our brokers, insurers, and reinsurers, to kind of walk this road with us. So, the insurance industry, it needs a lot of kind of co-development along this digital journey. If you look at something like, attracting skills to the industry, digital skills, that's going to be critical for our kind of mutual success. So, we can't do it alone. My message to you there is, reach out to me or one of the other panelists if there is an idea that you want to explore. And we can kind of put those in motion to see if we can't work together in our digital journey, customer journey. Yeah, that's all from me today. I hope I haven't bored you to death. I hope you found it interesting. I'm now going to hand over to Melita, who's just going to take you through SureThing.
Thanks, everyone. Try not to fall off the chair. And I think part of the change that we're seeing is in the move to tech and having digital and tech sort of foremost, is having our IT guy presenting to you at iTuesday rather than a product or market facing person. And that's, I think, a big illustration of the difference and the trend that we're now seeing. Normally IT guys, as far as I was concerned, sort of hunker in a dark cave somewhere. So it's really nice to have them on camera and yeah, showing off their expertise and their take on the world. So that's really cool. I'm not going to take you through SureThing, and I know that quite a few of you have attended our roadshows or been part of presentations with me. So I'm just going to kind of highlight some of the more salient features. Hopefully it will be new for some of you, and I do hope that you'll be interested to partake in this kind of digital platform with us and explore this exciting product that we see as a real game changer in the industry. just briefly, what it is it's an all-in-one, all-risk legal liability party that covers a small business's risks to third parties. So there's some keywords here. It's the legal liability, it's a small business, and it's a third party. So it doesn't cover first party losses. It only looks at the third party. And the really cool thing about it is it's a seamless product. So it's not various covers that are packaged together. It's one seamless product with its own sort of single operative clause, a single set of exclusions, and a single set of terms and conditions. And because it's all risk, if we haven't thought of something and not excluded it, it would be covered. So it's a real rest easy for a small business and in fact for a broker, because you don't need to select which particular liability exposure is more pertinent and what covers are required for it. You pretty much have everything included in this one single policy, which I think is really great. It also should provide some comfort on the PI side of things for brokers, because hopefully everything is there and there's nothing that they've forgotten, which can sometimes occur when you're dealing with a small business. The other really good thing, and Mark spoke about cost, is because it's all together in this one single policy and it's for a small business, we affordable rate in terms of the premium covered. I've spoken quite broadly, and there you'll see in the red block a real laundry list of all of the various third-party legal liability covers that we've included for SureThing. And the list is long, and as I said, it's an all-risk policy, so if we haven't thought of something and we haven't excluded it, it would be
Hi, Melita. Can you kindly unmute yourself? We can't hear you anymore.
I can unkindly unmute myself as well. So there we go. Am I back? And can you guys still see my screen?
No, we've lost your screen. We can see you.
Okay, coming up. Okay, are we back?
Yes, back and ready. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. HR processes, yes, that are just basically that you treat your employees fairly and consistently and don't have, as a CEO, a bad breakfast one morning and then go and fire everyone. Or if your IT Wi-Fi drops, you don't just fire your IT person, although I'm coming close, I think, today. Not that I'm the CEO, but you never know. And then financially sound. A small business shouldn't be on the brink of disaster in terms of going insolvent, because we do cover aspects like employment practices liability and D&O. So that's just another criteria. So this is all catered for in about 8 or so questions in our online platform. So it's really simple and easy to use to be able to qualify. And as long as the business qualifies, they're able to get the SureThing cover. And now I need to try and change my slide. Thanks. Mark, your firing slip is on its way. There we go. Brilliant. Thank you. Maybe you live another day, Mark, because you helped me here. So what are the numbers that are important? 2.5 million Rand is the limit for individual claims in terms of the indemnity covers that I've just spoken about. And there's an annual aggregate of 5 million there. As far as the additional covers are, we do provide what I call sort of the regulatory cost component, where we provide for legal defense costs or a set of attorneys to assist you if there's a POPIA inquiry, or if there's a workplace vaccine dispute. I thought those had gone away, but I think with COVID actually reducing, we're starting to see more interesting disputes in the workplace where there's still a mandatory vaccine workplace policy. So I think that's still a feature that has some legs. And that's 250,000 per inquiry with a 1 million rand annual aggregate. These are set amounts. So as long as the business qualifies for SureThing, those will be the limits that are applicable to them. And the premium and the excess or deductible is the one that's in that third red block there. And that's standard as well across the board. So there is the ability to have a quote offline, but the ideal situation is that you and your clients are aware of exactly what they're in for before they even venture into the product, because everything in terms of cost will be the set amount. So as long as they qualify, these are the premiums that they will pay. This is the deductible that'll be applicable, and these are the limits that are there.
Hi, Melissa. Sorry to interrupt. There are people that are asking if you can please recap on your slides where you were showing summary of covers. Apparently that's where they kind of lost you a bit.
Oh, okay. I will just rewind. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Excellent. So I'll just leave it there. It is quite a long list and you guys can read through briefly. But really what we've tried to do is think of all of the legal liability covers that would be out there and all of the exposures that would entail the need for a cover. And we've included it in SureThing. Just to emphasize on the cyber liability, this is third-party legal liability. So normally with cyber, there is quite a large first-party component in terms of forensic investigation, costs, or business interruption. That wouldn't be included under SureThing. What we would cover is where a third party, for instance, a customer's data is compromised, and they then look to the small business for expenses or the breach of privacy that's occurred. And likewise, if there's a downstream entity where the small business is working with another entity's data and that data is compromised and they then institute a claim, that's the sort of thing that would be covered here. So I hope that's a little bit clearer. PI is also included, so small professionals, a bookkeeping concern, a small estate agent, a small media company or PR company could obtain SureThing, which would cover their PI exposure as well as all the additional covers that you see included there. I hope that's a bit clearer. I think I spoke. I hope you guys could see. These are the criteria for a small business, which would be a 20 million rand cap or less in terms of revenue or turnover, employees 20 or less. It's SA only, and as I explained, minimum cybersecurity, minimum HR processes, and the entity needs to be financially sound. So I hope that's clear, and I think that's kind of where we left off, was in terms of the actual parameters for the policy in terms of limits, premium, and the like. I'm going to just show you now, I hope, otherwise I'll talk you through it because our internet is a little unstable, how the platform actually works. We designed SureThing as being a digital product, and that's where the simplicity comes in. We also wanted to not just pop our usual products into a digital format and have them available, although that is part of what we're doing. We like the idea of having something where we distinguished ourselves in terms of having a product that was a bit of a differential in terms of what we provide. And that's why we've included SureThing as well. I'm now going to try and just play the video and show you exactly how the whole platform works. If I can, there it is. Take a minute or two. Oh, goodness. All right, it's not letting me do this because it's needing, as is often the case with tech, a DNA sample and my eldest son to be given as a hostage before it'll let me do something. Aha. There we go.
Welcome to this quick introduction to SureThing's online sales platform. We built this handy tool to be as quick, easy, and user-friendly as possible. Once we have it set up for you, you can simply send a link to your client, and within minutes, they're covered. The digital platform will be branded with your logo and details, providing you with a professional and intuitive tool that's user-friendly and fast. For the next minute or two, I'll show you how quick and easy it is. Let's get started. Looking at the top left corner of the home screen, you'll notice that this area is customized with your branding and contact details. Scrolling down to this section of the home page, you'll find quick links from where you can download our product brochure, watch the product video, and more. Next, let's see how quick and easy it is for your clients to buy their cover online. You simply need to start the process by clicking the Buy Insurance button in the top right section of the home page.
Melita,
We'll take them to the
Yeah,
online
we
proposal
can
form.
only hear Sarah speaking, but we can't see any
Using the
visuals.
online proposal form, your clients
Okay.
can complete the underwriting questions, mainly
um,
consisting of single button click selections, as in
okay, let me see. I think, just go back to the slide. Yeah, we can rewind. Let's just try that.
top left corner of the home screen.
Can you see
You'll
it now?
notice that this area is customized.
It was there briefly, Melita, but it's on screen again.
Scrolling down to this section of the home page, you'll find quick links from where you can download our product brochure, watch the product video, and more. Next, let's see how quick and easy it is for your clients to buy their cover online. You simply need to start the process by clicking the Buy Insurance button in the top right section of the home page. This will take them to the online proposal form. Using the online proposal form, your clients can complete the underwriting questions, mainly consisting of single button click selections, as indicated here. It really can't get any simpler. Towards the bottom of the screen, your clients will encounter a few simple drop-down buttons to complete, including their industry, a short description of industry or services, turnover, and cover start date. Please note, they can start their cover on any date. Premiums will be prorated accordingly. Finally, they can simply click on the Get Quote button. Clients can choose a monthly or annual premium. Now clients simply have to fill out their company details, which in most cases can be auto-filled. Once done, they click Next. Clients can then review their quote and fill out their banking details. Accept the T's and C's, confirm you're not a robot, and hey presto, you're done. The client and broker will be sent a policy schedule, policy wording, and a record of advice. The broker can check the status of the policies on the digital platform and view or download the schedule, policy wording, and record of advice. This portal can also be used to submit claims. Simply click the button in the top right corner of the page. So, you want a quick and easy online sales tool that is custom to your brokerage and offers your clients cover in just minutes? Sure thing, you got it.
Let me just change to the next slide. Sorry, would you help me, Mark?
Welcome to this quick introduction.
Right, thank you. Welcome again to this quick introduction. No, I'm not repeating the video one more time. So really what we decided to do, as I said, was develop SureThing with a digital platform in mind. And to that end, that speaks to its simplicity. It does mean that you can't just customize, you can't pick and choose. If that's what's wanted, then a different product is the one that's available. But really with digital, it was just so much simpler to just have everything all in one, where you didn't have to then cherry pick the covers. And it was all provided in this, as I say, the digital platform, which was just simple and easy with no choices and endless variations in terms of the type of product. It's cheap. Although the premium may sound expensive compared to certain public liability premiums that you're seeing out there, the fact that you have all of that cover included in one means that you do have a saving. If you had to have those limits with all of those covers, you'd probably be looking at least 5 to 6 times the amount of the premium. Also, it's cheap in terms of, for a broker, we merely provide you with your itemized, tokenized digital link, which is uniquely yours. So the minute your client or you yourselves click onto that link, you don't have to enter a password, you don't go into a portal. That is your own individual link, and you're then able to access the product, and we know immediately that it's coming from a specific brokerage. This is at no cost to yourselves. The link is provided free of charge. You have it. We're able to use your logos and pop them onto the opening page with your Facebook and Twitter and Instagram accounts there, and you guys as the contact should there be any queries, so that that could generate a lead if, for instance, SureThing wasn't appropriate for the particular client. So it's a real plug and play that we have. It's efficient. It takes a week to set it up, if that, once we have all of the information from yourselves, and the actual transaction is quick. Within minutes, the client and you are able to obtain a policy, which is then emailed to them. So within 10 minutes, effectively, they can go from nothing to having cover. And then the other aspect is, because we have the data available in the background, you can track the digital impact that you're having as a business, as a broker. If you don't have a digital play at all, you're able to then, on a differentiated basis, have a look at how you're doing with all of our digital products. We provide a dashboard which not only shows SureThing, but also iVolution and any of the other digital products that we have, and you're able to track how well you're doing in terms of number of policies, premium generated, document issued, status of policies, and all of the rest. And ideally, as Mark has said, this is a journey that we're embarking on. We'd love to have you join us on this journey, sell SureThing to your clients and customers using the digital platform, and seeing how effective it is. And joining us on I think is what is, as I've said, a game changer for the business. I'm now going to hand over, I hope, to iVolution. Is it you, Megan, or Veredith? Okay, and Veredith is going to take you through iVolution, which is our other digital product that we have. Stop share. Still share, okay. Oh, she can.
We're just waiting for Veredith to start kind of talking us through iVolution.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I'm also struggling with the... Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can, Veredith.
Just trying to switch on my video. Okay. and then share my screen. I'm also not so clued up with Zoom, so let's try this. Just bear with me for a moment. Oh my goodness. Here it is, share screen. Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So welcome to the presentation today, and apologies for switching over and not being in the same room as the team. So we had some gremlins this morning and some flu viruses keeping me out of the office. I am going to speak to you about our product, iVolution. I'm not the product owner. She's currently on leave. That's Candace Sutherland, and many of you know her very well. So iVolution is one of the first products that we rolled out digitally, and it's time. Isn't it time that you were personally covered against cybercrime? This is what you should be talking to your clients about, because iVolution is the most effective way to protect your personal digital presence and footprint through our cutting-edge policy. It covers you for theft of funds, identity theft, data restoration, cyberbullying, cyber extortion, network security, privacy and data breach liability, and privacy and data breach by a third party. What makes this cover interesting is we offer a couple of packages, and I'll show you that shortly when I present the video to you on how the label, the iVolution product looks digitally, how you can send it on to your customers, and how they can onboard themselves. These premiums are very, very low compared to our other product offerings. So what makes this product really viable to sell digitally is your customer can really onboard themselves, because it's a very easy product to understand, and all the information is contained in the product. We also have we've created interesting marketing material for our brokers to send out to our customers with email signatures and social media icons to educate the public out there on the cyber risks they face on a daily basis by being so connected with their devices, their laptops, etc. So I'm going to switch over to the video now. So just 1 second, please. iVolution has launched broker labels for iVolution, SureThing, Cyber I2Go, Hole-in-One, and R30-day products today. The broker label is not a true white label, as you can only change the following elements on the broker label: your logo, your contact details, the social media links, the disclosure notice, and the token. What is a token? A token is a URL that contains a unique code that associates all sales.
Meredith, we can hear the audio, but the video is not moving.
The broker label is a sales platform. It is a proposal form on SureThing. Okay, let's try sharing again. We'll share. Stop share. Okay. Okay, here we go. Let me know if you can see it. iVolution has launched broker labels for iVolution, SureThing.
Yes, we can see it now. Thank you.
All-in-one and R30-day products today. The broker label is not a true white label, as you can only change the following elements on the broker label: your logo, your contact details, the social media links, the disclosure notice, and the token. What is a token? A token is a URL that contains a unique code that associates all sales to a brokerage. The broker label is a sales platform. It is a proposal form on steroids because it contains all the product information, the contact details, and last but not least, it allows the customer to onboard themselves. Let's take a look at the product information for iVolution. iVolution has 3 packages, Mega, Giga, and Tera. Each package has their own covers. The covers are displayed with the limits that are covered per package. There is also a section where you can find more detail on each of the benefits or covers of this product. A more detailed description on cyberbullying and some FAQs on why I need this cover and how can I protect myself. Let's have a look at the Contact Us page. Please note that this is a demo site. So your site will contain your broker code, your logo. When the client gets in touch with you, it will send an email to the email address you have provided us. Your contact details and social media links will be configured here. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty and take out a policy by clicking on the Buy Now tab. In this example, I'm going to select that I want to pay monthly. I'm going to select the premium package under Tera for 125 Rand per month. It also displays to me what and how much protection do I get. Now I can select when I want the cover to start. I'm going to select the 1st of September. And I click on the next button. Next, I'm going to complete my personal details. And I click on Next. On this page, I complete my address information. I can select whether my postal address is the same as my street address. If I say no, I can capture a PO box number, but in this example, I'm just going to select yes and click on Next. On this page, it displays the summary of purchase. Tera, individual, spouse or partner and up to 3 dependents, the cover start date, the monthly collection amount, the first collection date and then monthly thereafter, and the first collection amount. Should a pro rata apply, then this amount will be much higher, as it will collect the pro rata premium and the monthly premium. It displays the privacy policy that the customer has to accept and agree, and it displays the declaration the customer has to declare and agree. Once they've completed this page, they can click on Next. It is a monthly policy, and hence it will ask the customer for their bank account. It also displays the debit or the mandate to the customer, and then the customer clicks on next. Please note that there is a captcha that is protecting the site from robots. Lastly, it displays the policy information to the customer on screen. You will notice that your logo goes here and quite big, just to associate the transaction with the brokerage. It also notifies the client that they should check their junk folder for their policy documents if it doesn't appear in their inbox. And that is how easy it is for a customer to buy a MySolution policy. Broker earns the commission, the policy is seamlessly bound, and the commissions are released to the broker. And I think that concludes our presentation for the day. Should you be interested in any of our digital products, as I've mentioned, we've got 5 available. Then you can scan the QR code, or you can email us on digitalsupport@i2.co.za. I will hand over to Megan now.
Thanks so much, everybody. And we just wanted to make sure that you could see what life would be like and how frustrating it is if your internet is not working and technology is not playing along. And so I hope you didn't feel as frustrated as we did this morning, but thank you for joining us. Just a few questions, just very quickly. I know we've run out of time. David, you asked about the changing circumstances of a client. So if a client was on SureThing and their turnover exceeded 20 million Rand within the time period, we always work on past actuals. So whatever we have committed to as a policy they would have cover for, we would only review that at the time of renewal. And so any claim that arose, even if their business has grown, which we're hoping for, at the time of renewal, we would reassess the business. And if they'd no longer fit the criteria for SureThing, we would surely rehome them with all of the products and make sure they still enjoy the same cover that they did before. So it's an easy one for us to manage, but we would do that at renewal. Then a couple of other questions. Attorneys in particular on SureThing are a challenge because all attorneys have cover under the LPIIF, so they have a base layer of cover, and any cover that operates over and above that has to operate as top-up cover. SureThing is not established as top-up cover, and it would have many of those sections are not covered by the LPIIF. So attorneys, it is far better to insure them under the necessary covers that they actually require. So contact our PR team. We look after, probably have the largest book of attorneys in the country. So we are very familiar with attorneys' risks. In terms of small brokerages, we don't offer cover from a PR perspective for insurance brokers at all. So unfortunately, SureThing is not the appropriate place for an insurance broker. And I think just the question around turnover, the SureThing is for any business under 20 million turnover at this stage. Of course, we'll see how and what the demand is in future, but for now, that's the criteria for this particular product. And no, it is not available to financial advisors. So wherever you have slightly riskier professions, particularly where they require higher PI requirements and different covers, we prefer that we write those on a standalone basis to properly assess their risk. Those were the questions. I'm just going to scroll down very quickly to see if there were any others. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Of course, you are more than welcome to contact any of us anytime you have questions. We really hope that you enjoyed today. Liz, quickly, estate agents, yes, SureThing is perfect for estate agents because it covers all their risks. So get in touch. We'll definitely talk about those. And have a super week, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Cheers.